Okay, good evening to you all. So I'm Vijay, Faculty of Psychology. So today we are going to give a small demo on psychology. So here the main purpose of this demo is to make you understand. So what is the psychology? So what is the nature of the subject? And actually what we are going to deal in this subject. Psychology in a deal panna porom. What we are going to deal, what we are going to study. And also we will try to understand, how the subject will be, how it will be to study. So that's the first thing, to know about what is psychology. Then we will get into the UPSC point of view. We know that in the UPSC optional, psychology is one subject. So how in this UPSC, psychology plays a very important role. So how the mark patterns and everything. So that we'll try to see. So what is the role of the psychology in the UPSC optional, and also how this going to be useful in the GS. Of course, the GS, a mild part, it can be helpful. And apart from that, as a psychology as a subject, personally, how it can be helpful to you. So in terms of interview or in terms of your personal life. So we will also do a small discussion on it. And then we will get into the syllabus part. So what is the syllabus? So within the syllabus, paper 1, paper 2, what are the topics we have? And we'll get into each and every topic and we will have a slight discussion. So what this topic deals about. So that overall you will have an idea. And finally, also we'll see how the subject will be helpful to you, how it will suit you. So what type of skill is needed. So sometimes you may have a doubt. So you may come from a different background. You may come from an engineering background. You may come from an arts background, science background. So which background will be helpful? What type of skill is needed? Okay, and also what is the strength and weakness of the subject? So overall, I will just try to give a overall picture about the subject, and then you can decide about it. So before we get into it, to the syllabus and other UPSC point, so first I want to give a overall view of psychology. So what is this subject? Because I know that many come from engineering background, many come from arts background. So this subject is for everyone. So not specifically for science background and all. So here I'm going to show some pictures. So I want to start with this picture. So you can see here some 6 pictures. So first, you can see a mother and a child. A mother hugs a child. And you can see a second picture, an athlete, Usain Bolt. The third picture, you can see the Nazi, right? The Nazi leader, Hitler. So here you can see a beggar. So of course, a gentleman is helping the beggar. And here you can see a terrorist. Right, so with his arm, so he belongs to a terrorist organization, any type of a terrorist organization, or Naxalite or Maoist or something. And the last picture you can see the Annai Teresa, the Mother Teresa. So what comes in your mind? So by seeing these pictures, definitely something will come in your mind. Some sort of attitudes will come in your mind. So probably by seeing this picture, little bit of you may get a fear. Some sort of a fear may get triggered. So by seeing this picture, yes, some fear may get triggered. By seeing this picture, you may get a different emotion, right? Within a fraction of a second, your mind tries to give you some emotions, some sort of a thinking and all. So by and large, I will say everything is related to behavior and personality, all right? So what makes that mother to be so caring of the child? So even if you take a child, father versus mother, you know that the mother will be more attached. Am I right? So I'm damn sure the mother will be more attached with the child than the father. So what makes that mother, what instinct that makes the mother to be so attached than is there anything biological, or what makes them? So the intention, the behaviors, you can see here the athlete. So who's a sportsman, and you can see the level of energy he gets. Do you think that he has got a extraordinary physiological mechanism or extraordinary physiology or physical setup? No, he's also like us. Of course, he can have some advantage, but only because of his strength he has got it. That means some sort of a motivation is present, which is not present in ourselves, right? That's true. So he got some level of motivation. So now again, it comes to thinking, personality. Now Hitler, you take Hitler. What made Hitler to do that? Such a crime. You know that, the background. So what Hitler had in mind, the racial discrimination. So society. So he didn't like one section of society. And you can see for that, he mobilized the entire German people. And actually he's a good leader. See, because he was doing such a crime against the people, but the many German people have supported him. So how it is possible? As a leader, how it is possible for him to do? Of course, we have a leader like Gandhi. We have leader. So what type of personality they have? So what type of personality this person has? What type of intention? How this prejudice and discrimination? He has a negative attitude towards Jews. So why this negative attitude has come? How this prejudice has come? How it has built? Again, it's related to behavior and personality. And you can see here the altruistic tendency. So a beggar. So if you take a beggar, why he's a beggar? He does not have the self-esteem. All right. So normally, if we want to beg, no, we will not do that. So the self-esteem will not allow us. But whereas in his case, yes, he's ready to, leave his self-esteem. What makes him? And at the same time, a person is helping, a gentleman is helping a money or something. That is something called helping tendency or altruism. So what makes that altruism? And you see terrorist. So do you think that terrorist is a psychopath? So probably you would have heard about psychopath, criminals, serial killers. So whether serial killers and terrorists are same? No, not at all. So do you think that the serial killers, the psychopath, whatever we call, the criminals, whether the criminals and psychopath are same? Sorry, criminals and the terrorists are same. No, they are a very normal person, but they have been molded. They have been trained. They have been conditioned. Yes, if you recruit at 13 years or 14 years, and if you do a psychological training for 2 to 3 years of time, minimum 3 to 4 years of time, you can completely convert them into a terrorist. It's possible. So psychological process is possible. And you can see here Mother Teresa. So what made her to be so selfless? Okay, so helping tendency. So ultimately you can see everything is behavior. I can see some sort of a behavior or some sort of behaviors and personality. So in psychology, we are going to try to explore this behavior and personality. So what is psychology? How they define? So if you see the definition of a psychology, so you don't want to write it, just you can see here. It is a study of human behavior and mental processes. So here the two words are very important. The one word is human behavior, and the second is mental process. Do you think both are same? No, not at all. How in the sense, you see, behavior is something overt reaction, external reaction. Am I right? So you can see some examples like gossiping tendency or aggressive tendency, helping tendency, whatever you have seen even in the last slide, pictures and all, everything comes in the overt behavior, external. So here in psychology, one part we are going to understand about the external behavior, why people behave in that manner. Okay, what is the reason for the behavior, overt reaction, any reaction that comes. And the second part is we will try to understand the internal mental process. What is happening inside? Because thought, feeling, can I see it? No, I cannot see your thought. I cannot see your feeling. But definitely we have some method to take those thoughts and feeling. That is the reason today the depressions are treated, schizophrenia is treated, anxiety disorder people are treated, even behavioral changes is happening in the companies. So we have extreme application in psychology. So we are going to understand the internal process like thought, feeling, love, sex, anger, depression, memory. So we are going to deal. So in your entire subject of psychology, one part we will be discussing about the external behavior, the overt behavior, how the people react, behave externally. The second is the other part, we are going to understand the internal mental process. We will also discussing in detail about memory. So if I want about memory, so again, how can you explain memory? So now, yes, through psychology, we can understand how our memory system, how our memory works, why forgetting happens. Yes, we will study about memory, we will study about intelligence. So we will also deal about the internal mental process. This is what we'll do. So ultimately, when you study a psychology, yes, psychology will try to answer a wide range of answers, wide range of field. For example, if you're a shy type of a person or you're a talkative person, if you want to know why I'm shy, why I'm talkative, yes, the psychology can give you some answer, but not a definite answer. It can give you a tentative answer. And sometimes you can see the second question. If someone says something bad about me, why I obsess for a long time? Suppose if your friend or your parents or someone says something, criticize you, some people will leave it just like that. Okay, but some people will not leave it. They will think about a long time. Even in many cases, you see, they will be driving in a bicycle or they will be driving in a bike or car. Okay, suppose an opposite, some people will think about it for a long period of time. That is something called obsessing tendency. So that is not for everyone, only for some people. Some people can easily cross it, some people cannot easily cross it. So those people who think it for a very long period of time, they get into that emotional stress. But whereas some people you can see, they will not have any stress at all. They will not take any stress at all. They can be very cool. Whatever the stresses they have, they will have a big business losses. But they can sleep very well. But for some of us, okay, if something happens to us, we cannot get a sleep at all. So this is something you can get an answer, what type of personality, why it makes. So again, you can see why people, okay, but this is for student point of view. So especially when you come to the civil service, yes, many people will have this problem. After some point of time, like say some 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, initially first 3 months, okay, everything will be fine. But after 3 months and 6 months, you can find some people will find the struggle to study, sit and study for a long period of time. Okay, why? Whether motivation has come down, whether the interest has come down, whether they had a different attitude, what made them? Okay, the distraction is more. Yes, we can find some answer from psychology. And when, okay, why memory system, why forgetting happens? Really, sometimes by this time you would have studied some history and all. Some people used to say that, sir, I'm studying a lot, but after that I cannot remember anything. Because if you take our memory system, if you come to our psychology memory chapter, they say that if you study any material, any subject, in that 80% of the material will be lost within 9 hours of time. Because our short-term memory is just 20 seconds. Anything, if it enters into a short-term memory, that is just only 20 seconds. So we need to understand the real capacity of our brain, and we have to study accordingly. So this in memory subject, of course, we will try to understand why this forgetting happens, how our memory system works. Come to social part. Because when you take psychology, we will see in two perspectives. One is individual. Individual, how I am, what type of a person I am, what type of value I have got, what type of interest I have got, what type of attitude I have got. Okay, what is my personality? So we will study the individual perspective. The other is social perspective, because ultimately we are going to interact. Yes, like sociology, we will study how a person interacts in the family, how a person interacts in the society. Am I right? How a person interacts in the institution. Probably you may go and work in an organization. Sometimes you can see there are people who cannot stay in a job at all. Who cannot stay in a job. 3 months, 4 months, job wrong. The reason is, the problem is adjustment problem. They call it as an adjustment problem. It's not a big psychological problem. It's an adjustment problem. They cannot stay in a job for some time. So this and all social perspective. When come to social perspective, you can see honor killing. For caste or something, even they are ready to kill their son or daughter. Of course, daughter or son, they're ready to kill. Why? How? Why? See, it's not easy, no? So just imagine. So we have our own son or daughter. So it's not so easy to kill. But these parents are able to kill just for caste or something. That means you just imagine the sociological part of this caste, class that has deeply rooted in it. What makes them? What makes them to do it? Okay, because the reason is, for every caste, every class or something, that comes our identity. We take our identity. Suppose if I ask you, who are you? You will tell your name. And then further I ask you, who are you? Then you will say that I come from this college. I come from this family. Okay, I'm an Indian. I come from Tamil Nadu. I come from Kerala. I come from this caste. The reason is, ultimately your identity is rooted only in that. If you say your name, Satish, okay, you say your name Bala, that is not your real identity. Your real identity, what you have is the maybe a religion, maybe a caste or something. That is what sometimes you may not be a casteist. You may not be much inclined to caste or religion. But someone comes and says something bad about your caste, religion or something, immediately we will get anger. The reason is it's rooted. So most of the time, we will try to discuss in the social psychological part, what makes that, the prejudice, discrimination, why we are so attached to religion, why we are so attached to caste. So sociological part, we will see that. So here's some question, sometimes why some parents abuse their children badly. So this happens probably even in the Facebook and all, you would have seen. The mother abuses a child very badly, the father abuses a child very badly. So that and all is another part in sociological part. And again, criminal, when come to the criminal side, so of course we will try to see how people could commit such an inhuman crime like Nirbhaya case. So definitely you know about Nirbhaya case. Actually, what happened to the gentle lady? So the person, what the crime he has done. So how it is possible to do such a grave crime? So again, some people say that it's a rape. People say it's a rape, but actually when you come to psychology, you will really understand it's not a rape. See, normally rape, they will say it's a sexual pleasure. Do you think that he's doing for sexual pleasure? No, not at all. If a rapist is doing for sexual pleasure, probably he would have gone to a prostitute or something. But the real reason is aggression on a woman. He likes that aggression on a woman. That is the psychological part plays a role. So most of the time we will try to understand why such a criminal behavior happens. So this come to the other extreme. Today, advertisement companies, if you take a mobile phone, why if any brand or mobile phone where they want to do, they will bring a top model. They will bring a Deepika Padukone or some model. What is the reason? It is nothing but marketing uses classical conditioning, which is a psychological principle. So here, why advertisement company uses attractive models? So where do we have? Yes, what personality characteristics the leaders or creative people have? So why this exceptional people like Gandhi, Einstein, what makes them? So here we will try to get a very tentative answer for this. Not a perfect answer, a tentative answer. What makes us? Ultimately, we will try to understand what is the behavior, what is the mental process. In the subject line, we will try to see as a overall. I'm trying to tell in overall. So further, if you get into it, what you are going to study, ultimately, when you complete the entire psychology, when you come out of the subject after 5 months or 6 months time, so what you should be knowing is, you should see when you see a person, when you see any behavior, you should tell what type of behavior it is. It can be related to motivation. It can be an athlete. It can be a terrorist. It can be it can be a cunning person. It can be a genuine person, helping tendency. Any person, you should be able to tell, okay, what type of behavior it is, what type of person he is. Second is explain the reason of behavior. Again, it's so difficult to tell the reason because you do not know the history of the person, right? Sometimes you may meet the person, okay, that's the first time you may meet. Probably your interaction may be for 1 month or 2 months. History there. You do not know the history. So it's biological factors and all. So, but then we can understand what is the reason for that behavior. The third is you should predict how they will react in the future. How he will behave in the future. Okay, so this is not only for individual. It is also for community, voting behavior. Today they are employing psychologists to understand the voting behavior, electoral behavior. Based on that, they devise electoral strategy. So today, if you take the various political party like BJP, DMK, ADMK, so what they do, they also employ a lot of, the various people to understand the voting behavior, how the psychology. So marketing, most of the time, if you take marketing, again, they will understand when they place a product, whether the product will be purchased by the people or not. So how the consumer behavior, it comes out of it. So we need to predict how the people will react in future and then change the behavior and mental process. So again, it's a very challenging task we have to do. So even it is applied in the schemes. So today we have a Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, of course, toilet, open defecation. You see, open defecation. So initially, few months back, the government said that we have constructed 100% toilet. But later in the Hindu newspaper, it came out that, of course, even though 100% toilets is constructed, still 60% of the people is going in open defecation. The reason is what today we need is not a toilet, it's attitude change, behavioral change. That we have not intervened. See, the government has a policy only thinking about, okay, fine, infrastructure, okay, open defecation, open poranga, okay, fine, construct a toilet. That is not given the solution. What the real solution we have to do is the attitude change. So, of course, finally, our objective is to change the behavior and the mental process. So when you come out of the psychology, when you complete the paper 1 and paper 2, you should have some fair idea, not a depth idea. You're not going to be a PhD. See, because the level of the syllabus is only BSc or BA, that's all. So even the expectation from the UPSC is also not very depth and all. So at least, are you able to understand the subject? Are you able to reflect it? To little amount, are you able to? This is what. So this is what a subject is expecting. Okay, now, so just I told you what is the subject, what the subject deals about. So now we will see the UPSC point of view. So some of the doubts here, probably there may be many doubts, which I will try to clarify it. So the first is, what is the subject? Under what category it comes? Basically, it comes under social science, or it is called behavioral science. See, many people have a wrong opinion that it comes under a medical science. I do not know how people have got that attitude. It is not coming under a medical science. Medical science irukku, but that is something called psychiatry. That is totally different. There they study about brain part and all. So I'm right, we have cortex, different brain parts. But in our UPSC syllabus, even we are not going to study about brain parts. Because 10 years back, in the prelims, you know that the optional was in the prelims many years back. In that time, of course, brain physiology was there. One chapter, brain physiology was there. But that too, UPSC has removed it. UPSC completely brought it under a social science. So it is a social science or behavioral science. So it is not related to medical science or something. Here we are not going to deal anything about biological. But one or two chapter like emotions, we may come across one or two biological part like amygdala, because that is very important. Even a normal man should understand. So that we may have it, but biological basis, we may not have it. Okay, that is one. Second is, it does not need any specific background, which I want to tell it very clearly, because many people will have a, will have a doubt that if I come from a different background, if I come from an engineering background, can I take it? So if you see the profile, okay, most of them come from an engineering background. Okay, myself an engineering background. After that only I pursued MSc psychology and then, into the teaching career and everything. And if you see the last year, the student Bonesh who got into the civil service, he is a BSc physics. Okay, we have an engineering student, we have a commerce student. It can be any background. Now, if you want to pursue a BSc psychology or MSc psychology, BSc kuda vana, you can directly go to Bharat University or Madras University. You can directly take MA psychology or MSc psychology. What is the qualification? If you see any degree, that's all. Graduate in anything, that is what. So because psychology is a subject which is a very general subject, so they don't want any specific background. So if you want to study the subject, if you have any doubt that do you need any specific background, no, there is no need there is no need for any specific background. Okay, that is what. Third is, it has less biological basis. Suppose you come from a medical background or dental background or any medical science. Anyway, again I want to tell them, so don't think that it will have complete medicine and all. So it is not so. So medical background will be less. It will be more like your sociology. Sociology, the social behavioral science, to that extent only it will have. Okay, that is another third thing I want to tell. Fourth thing, okay, it is one of the popular subject, because popular subject, why I'm saying is, this is a subject it is offered in most of the institute. Adanaல the popular solrom. But if you see, there are people who take economics, who clear, who take commerce, who clear, who take different types of literature, they clear it. Okay, it depends on the individual. So why I want to call it as a popular means, in the 7-8 subjects normally which is offered across India, public administration, sociology, history, this is one of the subjects. So I'm saying it is one of the popular subject. Okay, so whether it's very difficult to understand, that question you may have it. Most of the time in the first session, second session itself, when you decide for the subject, when you come and sit for the first session, introduction psychology, you will come to know that this subject is a very normal subject. So it is very easy to understand. So but the only thing is you have to revise it. If you read it once, whether I will understand or no, not like that. You need to, in order to remember, you need to do a revision. So the quality of effort is equal for all optional. Okay, so there is nothing called optional when any optional is easy. All the optional has its own challenges. Yes, you have to work hard. There is no doubt in that. Definitely, it is an immense application. Okay, scoring paper. Whether it is a scoring paper or not, yes, it is a scoring paper, but under one condition. In the condition, if you understand the subject and if you are able to apply in your day-to-day life. Okay, for example, you may have a fear for dog, you may have a fear for cockroach. So once you cover the chapter, learning chapter, if you understand what is classical conditioning, operant conditioning, definitely you should know what is the reason for your fear. So daily life example, if you are able to apply it, yes, it is a scoring paper. So if you are going to be very rotana, theoretical, if you think very theoretically, if you write rotan, then none of the subject is going to be a scoring paper. Okay, but normally this paper is going to be a scoring paper. That is one. Then, okay, of course, it has practical. So every chapter will have a practical, because if you get into the chapter itself, learning, memory, intelligence, ellame practical da. So everything you know it, what is happening, that will have, but theoretical base. It will have a theoretical base because it's based on every theory. So like the subjects like public administration, sociology, everything is based on theory. So theory also will be there. So theoretical part, you need to understand the theoretical part. That is the reason we are here. We will teach you what is the theoretical part, what the school of thought says, what the thinker says, that we will teach you. Based on that, you need to build upon that. You have to do it. Okay, it can be easily applied. Yes, in the real-time examples. So individual, social, in most social aspect. So if you take any social honor killing to any crimes or any social crimes or anything, you can apply. In HR, it has a high application because most of the HR policy is based on there is something called organization behavior. Or in HR, that organization behavior comes under only psychology. The mother subject is psychology. Most of the HR. And also if you take management, administration, if you take marketing and all, ultimately marketing is what? Consumer behavior. If you want to sell the product, you need to understand the consumer behavior. Okay, it's nothing but again our psychology. So application wise, there's no doubt it will have a good amount of application in our all the field. So which we will largely cover in our paper 2. Then okay, so challenges irukada. Yes, you will have also challenges. When you get something easy, at the same time you will have some challenges. What is the challenge now? First thing, psychology, the subject, basically it is a scientific subject. It has to be studied under certain perspective, schools of thought. So there are schools of thought now, there is no much schools of thought. There are only 4 to 5 schools of thought. So for example, can I take psychology? Can I think something else? No. You cannot write personality, something. So there are people who have already studied personality. They say how a personality has to be studied. Okay, for example, Freudian theory. We have Freudian theory. We have Skinner theory. So it has to be studied under a particular perspective. This is what a real route. If you are strong in that perspective, which will get covered within 1.5 months of time, your entire psychology is over. Perspective theriyala appadina, then it's gone. So similar like sociology or public administration or even political science, everything has a thinker. Everything will have a school of thought. So definitely our psychology as also called a school of thought. It is not an open paper. Don't think psychology is just anything you can write. No, not like that. It will have its perspective because they have done some research and case studies and all. Based on that, you have to do it. Okay, you cannot deviate from it. Deviate. Second is, it will have its own term. For example, some people will have a fear for injection. Even if there is a vaccine injection means, immediately some people will get a fear. Or even when you go to the nurse, when the nurse is going to give the injection, immediately you get a fear. Do you know why that fear has come? Actually, that fear has come from your childhood. That is something called classical conditioning. The terms, there are certain terms. I call it as a technical term. It's a psychological, not technical term, it's a psychological terms. Yes, we will come across some terms. So when you take motivation, we call intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation. Some terms will be there. Terms are kandipa use pannum. Definitely you have to use the terms, okay? But most of the time, all the terms are self-explanatory. Because the term, when you read the term itself, it's an English meaning you can derive. So without terms, without perspective, you cannot study psychology. Not only psychology, any subject you should not study. Okay, that's a common one which I want to tell. Then, as I told you, it is a scientific paper. Even though it is a scientific paper, it is not a complete science like physics, chemistry and all. It is a quasi. I will say it's a quasi science. So some will be based on experiments, some will be based on some case studies and all. So memory is many case studies will be there. So some case studies, some small experiments and all, simple experiments, not a very big experiments and all, will be there, which will be supporting our scientific subject. So that is also important that you need to keep in mind. And second, the last one, it does not deal with pseudo-psychology. Okay, pseudo-psychology now, suppose after studying psychology, if someone comes in front of you, okay, can you understand whatever he thinks? That and all, it's not. There are many quacks. Okay, there is something hypnosis. Yes, of course, we study hypnosis. We are going to study hypnosis. What is the process? Okay, does it mean that, okay, by doing hypnosis, you can take everything out? No, not like that. So anything non-scientific, pseudo, that is pseudo means false. False psychology, we don't lead. We study proper psychology. Proper psychology, like, so how the subject like sociology, public administration, okay, anything like scientific subject, it will go to higher scientific like physics, chemistry, like that we are going to study a systematic subject. We will not deal any pseudo-psychology. Pseudo-psychology deal panna maatom. Okay, now, what are the contents we have? Okay, so now, I'm just tell you what are the contents we have. Here, first, we will start with introduction to psychology. So in this itself, we will cover the perspectives. what are the different schools of thought, how a psychology evolved. Okay, so how it started from 1980, 1850. So till now, how the psychology has modified. So who are all the major contributors in psychology? So what are the different schools of thought? So in the first thing itself, you will get a fair idea what is psychology. Then we have this topic, methods of psychology, research method. See, this topic, commonly it is called research methodology. So normally in this research methodology, we will try to understand if any research has to be happened. Suppose you may come from any background, come from an art background, literature, or arts, or science, or engineering. Suppose if you pursue a PhD, you need to do one paper which is called research methodology. So that tells if you want to conduct a research, okay, how the research has to be conducted. We are going to see in a very basic level, not depth level. For example, today Covaxin drug has come, Covishield has come. So you know that a lot of debate happened in Covaxin drug. That is, in the third trial was not there. So if any research has to come, what is the stages? What is the step involved? That we will deal in this topic. Then development of human behavior. This is what birth to death. So for example, once a child is born, okay, how the behavior will be. We will see some stages. So from the childhood, okay, from babyhood, childhood, then adolescence, all right, later childhood, then when come to puberty, so how their behavior changes, then comes to adolescence, teenage. So why teenage is risk-taking behavior? You know, teenage is always, you know, they have a very high ambition, so they do not know what is the reality. So we will try to understand. When you come to adulthood, now you come to adulthood. So you are in the younger adulthood. So in the younger adulthood, you have certain task. Okay, am I right? So you have been, or I can say that you are expected to perform certain things in this task. For example, now when your parents see you, most of the time what they will think is, okay, you should clear this exam, or you should go for a job. That is the expectation. Or if you're a girl, if you're 22, 23, they will think, okay, you should get married. I mean, this is something, the social expectation from you. So every age has some development task, certain social expectation. We will see that. Why we have to see is some people will deviate from it. For example, some people, okay, will not go for the job at all. After 21, 25, also even 30, 40, they will not go for a job. Okay, that and all deviation. We will try to understand what is a normal behavior in every stages, what is the abnormal behavior in every stages. That we'll see in general. Then comes our attention, perception. So what you see, what you sense, that is attention, perception. Then comes learning chapter. Learning now, don't think that it's learning. Everything is a learning. For example, now you come, sit, attend this class is a learning. It's a behavior. Right? It's a learning. It comes from the learning. Right? Suppose you assume come to the classroom. You come and sit in the class here. Whether you will come and stand here. No. The reason is it's a learning. You have been learned like that. So learning now, it's a behavior. So it's a very important chapter. Then comes memory. So here we will understand how our memory system, we will not see the biological factor. Please again, memory now we will not get into the biological part and all. So we'll try to understand there are three systems of memory. Sensory memory, short-term memory, long-term memory. How the memory system works, how the forgetting happens, how we take the information. So that is the reality, the real, the wisdom of psychologists to bring without opening the mind how our memory system works. They're able to tell what is amnesia. In amnesia, what is happening. So that and all we can understand. Then comes the next important chapter, thinking and problem solving. So how we think, how our thinking process happens. How do we think? What factors plays a role in our thinking process? And then within this, we have many chapters, small chapters like problem solving. So when you come across a problem, any problem, real-time life problem, how do we approach the problem? How do we solve the problem? And then the next chapter in this also, decision making. So for example, right now you attend this demo, probably you may attend some more demo, and finally you will take a decision. Am I right? Finally you have to take a decision. Now that decision making process, how it comes to you, how you have taken, what are the factors you have considered. So what psychological factor plays a role in the decision making? That plays a very important role. Okay, then creativity. It's a fine chapter. So creative people, how creativity, innovation happens. So that and all comes under the thinking. Then comes the next important chapter, the 9th chapter, motivation and emotions. So here we will deal about what are the types of emotion we experience, how we play with our emotions, and then motivation. This is a very important chapter because you are sitting here because of that motivation. Now you need to really question yourself why you are sitting here, why you are attending this demo, or why you are come for the civil service. Probably if I ask you what is the reason, sometimes you may say that I want to serve the country. I do not know what is your real motivation. In course of time, we'll come to know what is your real motivation you have, whether your motivation is power motivation. So yes, we have different types of motivation. There is something called power motivation. There is something called achievement motivation. There is something called affiliation motivation. So we will deal in detail about the different types of motivation and also what motivates a person to do a particular action. So that is one. Then comes the next chapter, intelligence. Intelligence, it's something, inside our mind. So intelligence means, don't think it's only a person who scores high mark. Here intelligence means how a person is able to adapt to a new situation, how he is able to manage a new situation. That is what intelligence. We will try to deal about intelligence in detail, the theories of intelligence, and also the aptitude, the CSAT part, what they try to understand, the aptitude part and intelligence part, that we will see. And then the real crux of our chapter, this is what a very, very important chapter, personality. Most of the time, the UPSC gives more focus for it. Of course, the psychology professor, when he sees your answer sheet, definitely he will go to the personality question. He will see your personality answer. When he sees the personality answer itself, you will understand what is the level of understanding in your subject. Because see, from all the chapter, you will find some question. But whether really every answer is going to be evaluated, of course, every answer is going to be evaluated, but the psychologist, the professor or whoever may the lecturer, when he sees your paper, when he sees your answer sheet, definitely he will try to see how your answer in learning, how your answer in motivation, personality, attitude. Most of the time he sees this answer, because that answer itself, that chapter answer itself will tell you really you know the subject or you do not know the subject. So that's what this chapter is very important, because all the schools of thought, all the perspectives start from Freudian to everyone will get into it. This is what ultimately, see, even you take intelligence, learning, memory, everything is personality, a person, complete person. This is what a crux of our entire paper 1. And then attitudes, values, and interests. So here it's a social psychology. Here we will deal about attitudes, the different types of attitude we build, all right? And also we will see prejudice, discrimination. So here sociological part we will try to deal. And then language and communication. So how do we communicate, how communication process happens in organization, that we will deal, language part. And finally, contemporary issues. In the contemporary psychology, we will see some of the thing like meditation, hypnosis, drug state, because some people, the different drug state, they take for example, narcotics drug, okay, so ganja, different types of drug they take. So we will try to discuss the various types of drugs, what changes their mind, so how they behave in the drug state. So that we will try to deal in this chapter. Actually, this 14 chapters only is a core of our psychology. That is what it's called as a foundation of psychology. When you are good in this 14th chapter, this 14th chapter will be made very easy. The reason is, in this 14th chapter, except 1 or 2 chapter like therapeutic disorders, we will also deal about certain disorders. So disorder, we have more than 40 plus disorder, but in our psychology, we will deal about 5 to 6 disorders, major disorders, and then therapies and all we will deal. And then if you see, a major portion will be application of psychology to disadvantaged group, application of psychology to social integration, application of psychology to environment, everything is application. So whether do you need any special preparation for it? Of course, not a special preparation. When you are good in paper 1, paper 2 will become very easy. So normally, if you take 5 months of time, so we will deal more than 3.5 to 4 months time for paper 1, because paper 1 only gives all the foundation, everything. So if you're good in paper 1, paper 2 is not a challenge. If you're any subject, you need 6 months time. So I will say that 4 months time you need to spend for paper 1, 2 months time for paper 2. Because paper 2, whatever you write, definitely they will give a mark. But the quality of answer is important. If you really get into, get into the subject in the paper 1, and then you reflect on the paper 2, you will get a high scoring mark. That is where the scoring lies. So paper 2 is completely issues and application. Everything in paper. When we get into each and every chapter, we will try to borrow from the paper 1. So try to borrow from memory, try to borrow from thinking, try to borrow from motivation. All right. So that is what we will do in the paper 2. Okay. So this is what we have, 250 marks, 250 marks. paper 1 and paper 2. So here, as I already, okay, book sources. So first you can start with NCERT plus 1 plus 2 book. So again, it is not mandatory, but it is better to read school book at least once. And then when coming to the book, this time what I have done is I have prepared a complete notes for psychology, taking from different sources. Normally I used to give a reference book because book reading is always good. But anyway, this time I've compiled it. So probably once you join the class in 15 to 20 days of time, you will get a first set of book. First 7 chapters you will get as a book. So that one book is something, a compilation of 5 to 6 books. I've made it to make to make you very easy. So that is what it's a essay and notes. I call it as essay and notes because why I call it as essay and notes means it is a compilation of different book. We cannot brand it in our name because it will have a copyright issue. So this book is only for our students. Okay, this circulation is only for the student, not for our sales. Only for educational purpose, only for our student. So because rather than having 2 to 3 books, okay, take NCERT, then take Wayne book, take some Barron book. So taking multiple read book, I want to give it as one single book. So now I have compiled for the entire paper 1, I have compiled a book which will be a photocopy, which will give it as a hard copy, not as a soft copy. Definitely, I will send it through a courier as a hard copy. So this one book is more than sufficient. Almost I will say 85 to 90% this book itself will serve. NCERT, you can do one reading. If you do just, you can do one reading because always school book, reading school book is good. So better have school reading and this. Okay, and then paper 2, yes, of course, you see here, the book I will give. Apart from that, whatever in the class notes and some handout I may give it. Suppose if it is anything related to, current affair or something, in any news related to intelligence in the current sense or something, just I will give it as a handout that you can use the handout. But this book is going to be the major book. Okay, paper 2, we have one standard book, which is specifically for UPSC. That is Applied Psychology by Markstein book. It's a small book, you can take it. But the book is a guideline. Please keep in mind, the success in paper 2 is only in your hand. See, paper 2, normally if you go and write it, you will get 120 marks. Anyone who knows paper 1, if you just go and write it, you will get 120 marks. But if you want to get highest mark in paper 2, be strong in paper 1. Be strong in paper 1, apply. Little bit think and apply. I will tell you how to apply. Because whenever I take a classes, in every chapter, I will give the application. So when I start learning chapter, classical conditioning, I will at least give 10 examples application so that you can use different examples, or even a real-time example also you can use it. So this is the only book you need to purchase. This book I will give it. Apart from this, if you really feel that I want a book, textbook, because some people, they may prefer any one book reading or something. Anyway, I will also advise you, book reading is good. Always book reading is always good. Suppose if you have a time, if you want any book, so we have 3 to 3 option. So in the first class, I will give you some reference. The book cost will come around 500 or 600. If you want, you can buy. Or if you want a soft copy also, that we can get it. So that is a reference book. That's only for purpose. But the classes and this book. And I want to tell you one thing. This notes book, whatever you get it, if you attend the class and you read the book, you will understand. Okay. You attend the class and take the book, read it after 1 month or 2 months, it is very difficult to understand. Because we have made the notes in such a way that, okay, you need to attend the class immediately within 2 days or 3 days. Okay, you have to read it. Not 1 reading, 2 reading, 3 reading. Revision, revision, revision. For UPSC, anything, please keep in mind revision. Any subject you take, it's a revision is important. So that's what. So syllabus, I will again show it. One of our students wants a syllabus. So I will show you. This is what the reference book. So already I told you, psychology, these are the perspective we are going to see. Ultimately, when you come out of the psychology, there is only 4 to 5 perspective. The one is the psychodynamic perspective, which is our famous Freud, Sigmund Freudian perspective. The second is the behavioral perspective, which is a Skinner perspective. The third one is a cognitive perspective. This is what today dominating like anything. So today, even American Psychiatric Association, American Psychological Association, Indian Psychological Association, today they are only, vouching this cognitive perspective, which is more dominating. Okay, then humanistic perspective, which is Carl Rogers. Then comes the social psychology, there is a social psychological perspective. So 5 perspective is a major perspective we will deal in our entire psychology. That means when you get into every chapter, if you go to learning chapter, you will have behavioral perspective, cognitive perspective. When you come to memory chapter, cognitive perspective. If you come to intelligence chapter, cognitive perspective, little behavioral perspective. So like that, when you get into each and every chapter, definitely you will find only in this 4 to 5 perspective. When you get into the personality chapter, you will see all the perspectives in one single chapter. So if you are good in this perspective itself, I will say 40 to 50% of the syllabus is over, almost subject is over. That is how our subject will be. Okay, and biological medical perspective, we don't have. So that is dealt by psychiatry. So if you want to know about biological brain science and all, that comes into neurology. So that has to be studied under science, pure science, either by the MBBS, MD psychiatry. So they deal it. So we don't have that scope here. So this is the 5 perspective we will have. Okay, our schedule, it's a weekend class. I hope that they would have told you. So we will have at 9, so 9 o'clock or 9:30 something we'll have, up to 1:15, 4 hours, Saturday, Sunday. So initially we will take it for 3 hours. Okay, so that you can, get along with it. So slowly 3 hours, from 3.5 hours, 4 hours will stretch up to 4 hours, one hour or 1 hour, 1:15, 1:30, till the time we will take it. All the weekends we will take. If there is any cancellation of class, we will definitely inform you before itself. And then I request for some extra classes during weekdays or holidays. Okay, if you do that, that will be better. So that little bit we can finish it a little bit earlier. So holidays like, maybe Gandhi Jayanti, some important holidays I don't want, like Diwali and all, of course, you have to celebrate. So for example, like the Independence Day, suppose if the institute permit, so you should not have some restriction to attend the classes. Okay, so holidays, weekdays, we will see. So that is what I told very clearly with student consensus. We will discuss in the class. So those who are coming out in the class, we will, based on that, we will decide whether to have the classes or not. Okay, weekdays or something. And then, so class test, how we will plan is, we will at least try to have some 7 to 8 tests in the 4-5 months time. So definitely will take 4 to 5 months time. So every fortnight, 2 weeks once, whatever the syllabus has been covered, we will have a class test. So class test, we will give a time. So probably it may be Wednesday or Thursday. So initially we will start with 1.5 hours, 2 hours, then slowly we will take up to 3 hours. So you can write the test and then immediately, convert into PDF and you can send it to the mail ID. So I will correct it. I will send it back to you, and then I will give a call. So we will fix a time. I will give a call. We will do a review, individual review. That is what I've done last class. So if it is a direct class, definitely it will be more easy. But since this is a online, you need not bother. So last class we did like that only. So we will have a direct, session like Zoom or something. We will have a over phone. I will give you each and every answer. So I will tell you what is the strength and weakness, your subject understanding level, what you need to improve. Okay, but you have to write the test. That is very important. Okay, so a test, keep it in your mind. It is mandatory. And also, when we keep a test on 23rd or 24th on the particular day, please stick on to the schedule. So write on the day itself. Okay, don't write it after 2 days, 3 days. Then it is difficult for you. It is also difficult for me. So to the best possible, write it on the day. Within 4 days or 5 days, okay, I will correct it and I will also give a one-to-one review. That we will do it. Normally, that is what we do it normally in all the options and everything. Okay, and after the test, of course, suppose if you have a test on Wednesday or Thursday, you can write it. By Saturday, whenever class comes, that time we will do the test discussion. So I will tell what is the answer key, how the answer has to be represented. We will do a review of it, because reading is alone not important. Writing is more important. Then only you will come to know how to read. So that is what test writing is very important. So without skipping the test, you have to write. And apart from that, some assignments I may give it. Some, okay, collecting from internet or something, that is for application. Okay, suppose if I teach about classical conditioning, so probably I may ask in a real time or real life, some 2 or 3 application, I may ask for it. So that you can collect it as an assignment, we can do it, so that it can enrich your knowledge. It will be very easy for you to approach your paper. Okay, that is another thing. And then mentoring is a common one. So in our student, if you struggle in your studying process, either in the GS or this psychology, we will try to mentor it. We will try to help the needy student if you have any problem. That we will normally do it. Okay. So that is about it. And someone has asked me, Second batch details. See, okay. NCERT book, NCERT +1/+2 psychology book. So we +1/+2 psychology book, you can download, don't buy the book, you can download it and you can do one reading. That's name is itself a psychology book in +1 and +2 in NCERT. Okay, second two batch details. See, batch will start by July. Probably it may over by November. July means August, September, October, November. Definitely 4.5 months it will take, November to December. So if you have some classes in the weekdays, in the evening time, if it is flexible for you, okay, in the holidays and all, little 1 or 2 weeks earlier we can finish it. Okay, so it will be there. Second is, no, I don't correct UPSC paper. See, UPSC paper is not corrected by, generally there is a conflict of interest. They will not allow to correct the UPSC papers. Weekend classes, see, again, if you have any weekend classes, you can shift the weekend CSAT classes. See, always, because CSAT classes, anytime you can attend. See, any optional you choose, if the option is, because most of the optional comes in the weekend classes, if by chance, if you're attending CSAT classes, definitely you can inform Chandru sir, you can give a request, they will change the time. Because generally, institute gives first preference for the optional classes. Okay, so because option is important, CSAT, CSAT is also important. It's a qualifying paper. You can change the timing. So definitely they will allow you to change the time. Okay. Okay, GS, whether it is helpful. See, first and foremost thing, my personal advice is never ever take a subject, optional subject for GS, because that itself, you have an attitude, a laziness attitude. So don't have that. If a particular subject is interesting, you should take it, not based on GS, because definitely GS platform is different, this platform is different, the way of GS correction is different, the way of this difference. Because why I am saying is optional subject should be based on interest, because the reason is you have to stick on to the subject for 5 months time. Okay, so whether you need to see any criteria, no criteria, you see the syllabus, you have seen the demo. So if you have a tentative idea, okay, fine, okay, I can take the subject, it seems to be interesting, I want to know what it is. That's it. Rest other we will take care. That is how optional subject has to be chosen. It should not be based on any other criteria. But anyway, psychology can be helpful in your paper 2, ethics paper, because some part directly comes psychology, case studies and all, it will be how to, approach the case studies. Definitely psychology part can be useful. Definitely in interview, psychology is highly useful. Most of the time, definitely the interviewer will become very interested. If they see a psychology, definitely they will be very interested to ask question. So that is one thing. That is what I told you. So you can change. So I will ask Chandru sir to give inform that, because many optional classes will fall in the weekend. By chance, if you have a CSAT, you can shift the CSAT. Okay. Then, okay. Whether you have technical terms, see, I told technical terms, it's not a technical term, it's a psychological terms. See, every psychological terms, definitely you can understand. It's not going to be like a Latin word, or see, suppose if you take a botany, zoology and all, you have that word, biological term. That is not that. See, classical conditioning. Condition means, okay, classical conditioning, that's all. The term itself is a self-explanatory. That is the reason I told you. So that definitely will not have a challenge. So, okay, technical terms, don't think it's not a medical term and all. Okay, so that you will not have any challenge in that. Okay, and again, you come from science background or commerce background, no issue at all. That is what I told you. So we have a student of mixed crowd. So even if you see the selection list also, it comes from the mixed crowd. So there is no, this is a very general subject. Anyone who sees it, they will do it. So whether really do you need any skill? Okay. Only thing is, if you have any interest over the subject, yes, you can do. See, there are two types of people. In civil service, you can have two types of people. There are one type of people who choose a subject based on their interest. So they see for subject, they feel this subject is okay, interesting. Okay, sociology, okay, it's a little bit interesting. Okay, political science, it's interesting. Okay, psychology is interesting. Choose that, study, that's it. Okay, not by peer pressure, data, because you can be flooded with a lot of data. Because I can also show a lot of data. So if you see the last year first highest mark optional it is mathematics. Second highest optional mark is psychology last year. Psychology best. That depends on the individual. Am I right? So that data and all will not work out. Okay, every individual plays a very important role. You come with a determination, you work hard, okay, understand the nuances of the thing, you do a smart work, hard work, smart work, yes, you will clear this. You should have the perseverance, determination, because initially, I know that everyone, because we are into the field for 10 years, we know that when the students start, first 3 months, okay, fine. But whether you are in that marathon, because it is not a running race, it is a marathon. Please understand. So you have to sustain it and you have to do. It's purely depends on hard work. Whatever the option you take, it's hard work. That is what I will say. Okay. See, 4 hours class, we will have an intermediate break. Please understand. Break irukum. And also definitely you will not feel it. You will not feel the, it's not going to be very theoretical. Okay. It will have a mixture of subject. So theoretical subject is more application. And the only thing is, when I talk about personality, when I talk about, immediately there is a chances that you will start thinking about yourself. Okay, so that is the only problem you may have. Okay, my personality, how my personality is. So that is the only thing you will have, but definitely it is going to be an interesting subject. There is no doubt of that thing. Okay, so I do not understand what is this astrological view. I cannot understand what you're trying to convey. So as I told you, CSAT is not an issue. You can change the time of the CSAT. Definitely Chandru sir will inform it. Current affairs, definitely. So because every current affairs, social issues, political issue, political behavior, voting attitudes, everything is psychology. Okay, when you read the current affair, so in the course of time itself, you will start thinking like a psychological perspective. So that is definitely you will have, but not that you need to write something current affair. Second is, I want to tell one thing. This subject, again, it is basically a theoretical subject, as I told you. Most of the time, we have to stick on to the book. This can be its advantage. It can have little disadvantage. Okay, why I'm saying that, Abhina? The reason is, it is something, why psychology? Sometimes psychology is a safer subject, in some senses. Your answer cannot be a different answer. Because if you're writing an answer memory, suppose assume that you're writing memory, short-term memory. Gajini movie, short-term memory loss. Okay, you're writing something about short-term memory loss. 10 lines. Okay, whether you write it or in Harvard, any PhD holder writes it, both of your answers should be same. Okay, because it's a bookish. Your own answer la eludha mudiyadhu. Please understand. So in that way, you have been given a guideline. So by that way, it is safer, because your UPSC answer key will not be different. But some subject la and the risk irukku. Some subject may have UPSC answer key oda match aguma. Yes, definitely it will match, because source book, reference book is same, because everything is psychology is a scientific subject. It comes under perspective. Am I right? So you cannot change a Freud perspective. You cannot change this. UPSC, the psychologist professor, he cannot keep a different answer. So in that way, it is a little bit book oriented. Application is totally different. Yes, how you apply to your real life. Okay, but if it is a book, yes, revise, read and revise. Not that you need to keep memory and all. It is not a rotten thing. Understand it. Understand the subject, revise it. Definitely it can be very helpful. In that way, it can be, safer. 4 hours, as I told you, it will not be exempting. See, next batch, we are not sure about what is the next batch. So as of now, the July batch we have. So July batch will be over by November or something. So if you have a time, better join this batch. Okay, don't join this batch, because that batch, by the time prelims will come. So by November, you should complete it. You should complete the syllabus, because 5 months of time, you should complete the entire psychology. Okay, some 6, 7, 8 papers writing practice you should have done. And then after December, you should only concentrate on the prelims. Don't bother about psychology. Don't read anything on psychology, only prelims. And clear the prelims, come for the test series. That will be 8 test series. Revise it, read it, we will mold you. Okay, then get into it. Okay, whether you want to study IGNOU, MA psychology, no need at all. Okay, don't take any overload. There's no use at all. Read this. Okay, focus only. Please have one single focus. Okay, Abhina, you have some doubt. Don't have a doubt at all. Take only one. Take this task. This one task, take it religiously, because we will study motivation. Motivation, like there is something called achievement motivation. How? Because if you take this people who get selected in this UPSC, if you see their profile, you want a profile, personality profile, if you see, everyone will have a similar profile. What is the similar profile now? These are the people who get selected in the civil service. They don't get much stress. First thing, romba stress ஆக மாட்டாங்க. That is the reason for their performance. Second thing, they work hard. Third, they delay gratification. What is the delay gratification? Now, you may find a lot of distraction. Your friend may call, you may have to go for marriage. You need to cut everything. Delay gratification. So certain characteristics are very important for the civil service in general. Okay, so I will say that you don't need any other degrees and all. You can straight away come to the class, you attend it, you will come to know how the subject is. Yes, can I take psychology with zero previous knowledge? That is what everyone has done. So last year, Bhuvanesh student who has got a civil service, of course, he has come from a BSc physics background. So background, please don't bother about it at all. So there is no need for any background at all. See, any optional, if you take a question paper, yes, it will be challenging. We can decode. That is the reason we come to the class. You come to the class, you attend it, because it is a step-by-step process. All right, it's a step-by-step process. You have to attend the class, you have to read it, you have to write the test practice. It's a slow process. Everyone has crossed it. Okay, so that will be done. Okay, see, you have a dilemma between sociology, psychology. See, again, it is purely based on the interest. Both have its own, nature. Okay, we cannot see that we cannot compare between two. So if you ask me, father is better, mother is better. No, I cannot give a comparison. See, both are important. See, that is what it is based on your interest and choice. So suppose if you feel the syllabus, psychology, now I told, suppose you get a feel that, okay, I need to know about it. Yes, you need to say psychology. If you feel that, okay, sociology, okay, it is, okay, I feel interest in sociology, you should take sociology. That is what Abraham Maslow says that, okay, if you're a painter, you should paint. If you're a poet, you should write poem. So what you like, what you are, that is what you have to do. So, okay, it's purely based on interest, not, that is what again I told you, it is not based on, okay, your peer pressure, no. See, every year, Patina, 1,000 people is getting selected and going on. So if you see their profile, the people who get selected, I will say the 2,000 people who go up to interview, they're all potential people. Now, if you see all their profile, they are not influenced by anyone. They are all independent people. The personality is an independent personality. They are not guided by anyone. They decide on their own. You just go and talk with these people who have gone up to interview, who have gone into service. You can find, if you carefully watch their characteristics, you can find some sort of independence in them. Independence. That is, they take the decision on their own. Because if you take a decision on your own, all the risk, okay, plus and minus, you can bear it. You should not depend on others at all. Okay, so you take the decision. Psychology, sociology, difference. Sociology will deal about social parts. Psychology, we will deal about individual and social part. Rendu part irukkum. Okay, see, once you are interested in the subject, you need not, I want only one thing. I want interest. Whether are you interested in the subject? That's the first thing. Second thing, are you ready to work hard? See, interest mattum irundha pathadu, you need to come attend the class regularly. If you have any doubts, clarify it, read it, revise it, write the test, get the feedback, improve it, do it. Reality, this is what people clear. This is a shortcut, okay, strategy, someone uses the word strategy, shortcut, that is really, see, please understand, it's a practically understand. This is one of the toughest examination in India. Right? Globally, it is one of the toughest examination. And you can see 5 lakh people appear. Right? Everything is competitive. People come from IIT, people come from commerce background. Yes, everyone is getting selected. That's one thing. People from IIT also is getting cleared. People from commerce background is also getting cleared. People from English literature is also getting cleared. Engineering is also getting cleared. That means what? UPSC gives a fair. See, UPSC is very fair. I will say that, I can strongly say that this UPSC is always fair. Mostly fair. Fair in terms of all the field. Fair in terms of optional. Definitely, UPSC will not discriminate any optional. Whatever the optional you choose psychology, you choose economics, you choose mathematics, you choose sociology, you choose public, political science. I will say, if you have interest, choose it. Definitely, if someone says that, okay, political science, if you take, you will not get mark, means they are telling a lie. They do not know anything. No, If you work hard, definitely you will get it. UPSC is not biased for any optional. That always keep in mind. Okay. See, advantages, see, optional subject, see, again, I cannot compare, see, this optional I take psychology optional. So how can I degrade another optional? It is not ethical for me to degrade another optional. So that is something unethical on my part. I will not do it. Please understand, again, there is nothing like that. All the options are equal. If you take a psychology optional, the question paper is set by psychology professor, it is corrected by psychology lecturer professor. Public administration, the question is set by public administration professor, it is corrected by public administration. Everyone, if you see the professor who sets the question paper optional, GS, okay, general, don't bother about GS at all. If you take optional, it is only the expert takes it. So there is no discrimination, nothing at all. Okay, UPSC never discriminates it. So please don't have that mind. Your interest, take it. That is how you should do it. Interview, okay, see, normally one little edge. When you go for an interview, when they come to know you are a psychologist, okay, you have taken psychology as optional, definitely little interest they may have. So most of the time we see the students who have gone to the interview, so definitely they will have one or two extra questions they may ask. Okay, suppose if you are good in the psychology thing, so sometimes they may ask in application part. So definitely they will have little interest to ask. So why you have taken psychology? Because psychology is something, it's a little bit of a, it's a mind and behavior. So that is the reason they may have something. See, astrology, we don't deal with astrology and all. Okay. Whether it is a dynamic or static, it is a concept wise, it's a static. Application wise, it's a dynamic. That is what I can say. Concept wise, every concept, perspective, it's a static. But application, it is a dynamic. In the class itself, every chapter I will tell what is application. Okay, I will not ask you to do application. I will give you a lot of examples so that you can make note of the example. If you can bring out with your own example, then it will be more good. Because when the professor, any subject, when the professor writes, when he sees your answer itself, he will understand what is your level of understanding in the subject. Based on that only your mark will be. So it is only purely based on the individual. Okay. See, what is the time span? See, this psychology, it's all the optional. We can cover maximum within 5 months time. Okay, mathematics, it may take 1 month time extra because of its nature, but it's also a scoring paper. So if you have the strength of mathematics, okay, fine, you can go for it. But all the optional, within 4 to 5 months time, you can grasp it. In that 4 or 5 months time, you should study. So every optional, within 6 months of time, I will say that you can have a good hold. Psychology, I will say within 5 to 6 months, you can get a good hold. Okay, so even that is what again and again telling, even you come from different background, does not matter. See, many may be from engineering. So for that reason, are you going to take any engineering? Definitely you will be taking, okay, like, political science or sociology, psychology. That is what you're going to take. Everything is a new subject. So you do not bother about it. So it will be, it's a level playing field. So your background, whatever the background, does not matter at all. Okay, if you want to ask direct questions also, you can ask it.
Sir, thank you for this demo class and you have explained very well. And I want to ask very basic question, sir. Why UPSC keeping this psychology subject as an optional? And what UPSC is expecting from aspirants by knowing and understanding the subject?
Okay. See, basically, if you see the roots, if you go back, the idea of keeping an optional subject itself is to promote academics. Really, if you ask me, there are some optional like commerce, literature. Okay, really, if you take Kannada literature, Tamil literature, is there any use with the UPSC? Not at all. Definitely not at all. So they want to actually, if you see the roots, background, they want to promote academics. They want to promote all the subject. That's the one reason. So that is the reason there is a debate going on whether we need to remove the optional or something. But later point of time, there is another view that we should also test the student when they take a subject, when they read the subject, how well they are able to perform. So they can also see your performance level. Okay, some subject like, psychology, sociology and all, it is directly applicable because psychology, becoming a collector, again, attitudes, psychology will play a role. Psychology, its application is everything. So it depends on the subject it will have. Suppose if you take commerce, okay, application will be very less. But anyway, there are people who take. So ultimately, the main objective is to promote academics. The second thing is, of course, in order to make it much more better, That is the reason in every optional, paper 2 will be application. If you take psychology, paper 2, it is application of psychology. Application of psychology to military, application of psychology to terrorism, application of psychology to environment. You will find all the application. So that is the reason they keep it. Other than that, there is no real, purpose.
Thank you, sir.
So whether you can improve your personality, yes, definitely you come. Yes, we can improve our personality, but not change our personality. Because personality is something little bit of constant. Okay, you can do some behavioral changes. Suppose if you come to the class, you will understand. Suppose assume that you are completely introvert, ரொம்ப shy type, பேச மாட்டீங்க. அதுக்காக after studying the psychology, can I convert you into extrovert? No. Right? So we need to understand the reality. Okay, there is some biological factors plays a role. So that is what in the subject itself we will see nature versus nurture debate. See, today you have a particular person, maybe you in 23, 22, 23 or 25 years, you have some personality. உங்களுக்கு ஒரு personality இருக்கும், ஒரு motivation இருக்கும், some emotions you have. Now, you tell me whether it comes from the gene, whether it comes from your brought up. உங்களோட brought up, உங்களோட வளர்ப்புல வருதா? That is how your parent has brought you, your father-mother interaction with you, your brother, sister, sibling, family interaction, neighbor interaction, school interaction, okay, your peer group, friends interaction. Your personality is developed by these factors, by the environmental factors, or gene play a role, genetic play a role. It's very difficult to answer. But by and large today, nurture factor is playing a bigger role. That is the reason we are today studying psychology. If gene plays a role, then we don't want to study the psychology as a subject. Then it will be studied only by medical science. But today we have an answer. Many prove that nurture plays a role. Our environment, our surrounding, okay, how we have been brought up, in what circle we are, in what environment we are. That is what, when you have a child, you need to bring your child in a nurturous environment. After a point of time, you will get married, you will have a child. Okay, now when you develop a child, the first 10 years is a very important stage for a child. We will see in development of human behavior, that is where they learn a lot. See, most of the their learning comes from us. Okay, if I ask you, your learning most of the time comes from your parents, the behaviors, attitudes. So we'll see that. Personality, yes, we can modify, we can change, but not the core personality. Core personality change பண்ண முடியாது. Suppose you are very, very emotional person, very angry person. Yes, we can do some behavioral modification. We can control our anger. We can improve our emotions. That is all we can do. அதுக்காக அப்படியே base roots மாத்த முடியுமானா? No, that we cannot do it. That is the reality.
Sir, I am an history graduate now. I have never thought about this subject in general. Just before this demo, I had some sort of thing, because I was always interested in psychology. I just go about researching about a lot of things like memory, all these contents and things, and especially I was very much interested in criminal psychology. So but I'm still confused whether would I be able to do well in the subject, because I am coming from a history graduate. Many people would ask me to take directly as a history subject, but just because that I don't want to take it, and I have interest in selecting foreign service. So most people would say political science, and I have some interest in political science and international relations also. But I still think I'm in very much of a dilemma of taking this subject, whether I would be able to do this, because when I was in college, I heard that psychology is a difficult subject. Yeah. They won't score much. It's difficult for people to score in this subject. So, but I have a genuine interest because I go for hours.
See, there are two things I want to tell. I understood what you're asking for. See, first thing, it's a difficult under it's not difficult. That is the reason I told you last year. If you see the mark, the first highest mark, optional mark, is mathematics. The second highest mark is psychology. A person has got it. Next is PUBAD and everything. See, it is a scoring. See, no option. See, because UPSC, taking a psychology or taking anthropology, UPSC will not reduce the mark. That and all they know. It depends on the individual how they write it. Now, actually, the problem what you are facing is, it is not on the subject, is on yourself. Whether I can do it or not. Okay. Yes, so this is again, you need to resolve the personality issue. So you have to take a stand. See, what you need is a confidence, not related to subject. Because even if I give history, there's a chances that you can also fail in a history. Because when you have a doubt, self-doubt, because there are certain things, of course, in psychology, Bandura, he says that there's something called self-efficacy. Every person's self-efficacy we need to measure. Self-efficacy now, that is, it is a belief that I can do. You may not do it, does not matter. Okay, probably you may not have that skill or set or something, but what Bandura says, a psychologist, it does not matter at all. What you can do does not matter. What is your intention? First, what is your belief about yourself? That is very important. So here the dilemma what you have to crack or what you have to resolve is, first and foremost thing, remove the self-doubt. First, take a stand that whatever the subject I take, I will do it. That is the first stand you need to take. I want to see, my objective is to complete this. So whatever the subject, I will clear it. You take that stand first and then choose a subject. Then you will not have an issue at all. If a subject, your dilemma is not based on the subject, your dilemma is based on yourself. See, whether you take history, yes, you can already, you come from, you can study history. Whether you take psychology, psychology is not going to be tough. So when you come to the course of time, psychology is also very easy to understand. You will understand psychology. It will not have a challenge. You take political science, international relation. Yes, that is also going to be a good thing. So subject wise, you will not have any issue at all. Now here, you need to take a call. First and foremost thing, you need to decide yourself that I can do it. What you need is a self-confidence, belief, self-belief, self-efficacy. And then based on your interest, choose the subject. If you ask me whether you can do psychology now, yes, definitely we are here to help you. So that I can assure you. Every chapter, I'm not, see, it is not that you're going to take a book and you're going to read it. Every chapter I'm going to teach you, I'm going to tell the concept, I'm going to tell what is the crux, what you need to write, what you need to understand, how it can be applied in a real time. That is what we are here. That is what we will do. So on our part, we will completely do that. So we use the subject, we know what is the trend is happening in the UPSC, how the UPSC is asking the question, we are going to give that. Okay. So rest of there, it is only in your hand. So decision making is very important. So you need to take the decision. Okay, you need to resolve the decision. You need to resolve the dilemma. You need to take a decision. You need to take a stand. Okay, that is only in your hand. Yes, we will deal, see, personality types and all. Yes, for psychological testing we have. So we'll deal about MMPA, MBTA and all we will discuss. See, and please keep in mind, we are not going to discuss in detail. See, it is a BSc level, BA level. I will say it is a BA level. So we have BA psychology. That is what, even not BSc psychology. BSc psychology also will have more sciences, but BA psychology will have very less science. What our UPSC has given is BA psychology. Okay. Say, there are some people, some people will think that after studying the psychology, can you become a counselor, clinical psychologist? No, we will understand the basic, we will try to apply, we will move on. Okay, not that you, okay, I'm not making you a clinical psychologist, okay, directly go to hospital, treat patient, that and all we are not doing. It's a UPSC. Our ultimate objective is to crack the UPSC. Okay, so if you want to crack the UPSC, whatever the subject you take, you should have a good understanding or conceptual understanding. Then only you can write better. So then, of course, you can clear. That's our objective. That is what I told you. Two type of people. One type of people choose a subject based on interest. There is another type of people which will not think about anything. They will choose a subject. They will work hard. Okay, they will clear the subject. That's all. They don't bother about anything. Okay, you should fall under any two. My thing is to clear this exam. My ultimate objective is to crack UPSC. Adukku psychology irundhalum seri, pabada irundhalum seri, okay, economics irundhalum seri, mathematics irundhalum seri, I don't bother. I will do that. That's all. That attitude, one, you need to take that attitude. Or okay, fine, you have some, some sort of a confusion. Okay, let me take one subject which is an interesting subject. Okay, we have a faculty. So here there is to guide it. So yes, take it and work on it. So definitely it is not going to be tough. Kandipa psychology tough. See, probably maybe in the college time. So that time you take. By this time, after coming 21 years and all, of course, you will have a different perspective. You will have a different mindset. Once you enter, definitely you'll understand. So subject is not a tough subject. That definitely I can assure you. Okay.
Sir, I was always interested in psychology since childhood. I'm ready to study all the theories and practical sessions that you're going to conduct. But I have one doubt: whether the paper 2 questions are of what questions they'll be asking. Like that, you told me that if you study paper 1, then you'll be able to solve all the paper 2 questions that are asked in the exam. But what are all the questions there will be? See,
again, if I directly take one question and if I discuss, it will be very difficult because unless you should enter into the subject, then only I can take the question.
No.
But I can give you tentative. Yeah, that is what I'm telling you.
It will be in social manner related issues, or what we have to, what are the things that we are, that like that.
I will 50 to 60, even 50, second paper, 60 to 70% social related issues, because terrorism. So we will study in terrorism how the people, how they recruit terror, how they recruit terror, how they recruit the youngsters, how they mold the youngsters. So in this, we will study a concept called intense indoctrination. So first they will take a softening up stage. First, they will cut off from their families, no mobile, nothing. They will give a minimum food. They will give excess work. The reason is they want to be in confusion. They should not think. Even in the military also we are doing that. Even in the police service also we are doing it. That is what sometimes if you see a person, anyone who has gone to military, when he comes back, you can see he will become very lean. The reason is they give minimum food. The reason is they should not think. Why they should not think? The reason is they have to obey. Obedience. That's what. See, this is what application. See, this is what basically they are going to ask. Now the intense so in terrorism, they will ask a question. Definitely you need to bring that intense indoctrination and explain according to it. In the matter, we will have someone backup theory to explain that concepts. But paper 2, 60-70%, it is social. That is what we will discuss.
That, applying the theories by eminent psychologists proposed no. So the theories we have to apply it in the answer, and we can't write our own answer. But by applying that theory, the theoretical part, I can also write my own answer, no?
Yes, you can write your own answers. See, again, you are very flexible. See, it is not that it has to mug up and write. No, you can write it in your own words. You can also write your own answers, but it has to be justified.
With respect to that theory.
It has to be justified. It has to be justified. Okay, it has to be relevant. It has to be justified. Yes, definitely own answer. It will be highly appreciated.
அந்த தியரிக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி நான் கரெக்ட்டா அந்த கீவேர்ட்ஸ் எழுதிட்டு அதுல இருந்து எனக்கு என்ன புரிஞ்சிச்சோ அந்த சிச்சுவேஷனுக்கு என்ன ரிலேட்டடா இருக்கோ அந்த தியரிஸ்ல இருந்து எடுத்து நான் எழுதலாம்.
Yes, that is what is needed. If you do that, you will get the maximum mark.
Okay.
This is what is expected in an optional paper. Every optional paper, please keep in mind. It is not only for psychology, sociology, public administration, political science. எல்லாத்துக்கும் இதுதான் need. This is what the requirement for optional. See, no optional is easy. I want to tell you. Psychology easy na sonana? No, I'm telling a lie. No optional is easy. Every optional will have this challenge. Please understand. So, based on your interest, you need to choose a subject. So then we are here to guide you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, cognitive perspective, it is something, it is a mental process you do. So anyway, in the first session, definitely I will tell you about cognitive perspective. So today it is more dominating. So cognitive perspective now, see for example, anything you perceive, anything you understand, you see, the information goes inside the brain, am I right? Then from the memory you take it, then you process it. This is what we call it as cognitive. Cognition na internal mental. Okay, so we will deal that in detail. See, psychology, so first we need to start with theory. Then I will advise you some general book for your self-interest. Okay, because if you start taking some books and you will get deviated. Because please keep in mind, my objective, my ultimate objective is to, okay, make you to clear this exam. You clear panni, pair varno. That is the main objective of any academy, anything. Okay, so that will be your main objective. Our main objective is UPSC point of view. Even I take subject like learning, memory. Yes, first aspect, subject. Make you to understand subject. Then my ultimate objective is to make you ready for UPSC. UPSC la and the question keta, how you need to write, how you need to bring the best answer. So I will give you, say, I will tell you how to bring the better answer, but it is in your hand how to bring the best answer. Okay, so that is all. Yes, psychology, definitely it will be helpful in ethics, because in development psychology and all, we will deal about moral reasoning, moral thinking, moral reasoning and all we will deal. So it will help you in some extent, not the entire paper, but here and there it will be very helpful. Overthinking and unconditional interest affect learning. It's a very general term. Definitely overthinking is always a problem. Okay, so we will see why people do overthinking, how to stop that overthinking. Then any other doubts? Say, there are many questions. I think some of the questions I reckon. Okay, I'm a chartered accountant and interested in psychology. CA does not matter at all. See, if you are interested in psychology, you can take psychology. Suppose if you think that, okay, you're strong in accounts and commerce, you can take commerce accounts. But the only thing is, my personal advice is, if you're going to take commerce or accounts, you can directly choose it since you come from chartered accountant, but you should have some guidance. Suppose if you feel that you have an interest in psychology, you think that, okay, you should take a new subject and learn and do it. Yes, definitely you can take psychology. Biology we don't have. That is what again and again I'm telling you, because UPSC has completely removed it. Biological part, everything they have removed it. Brain, see, of course, 8-9 years back and all, at least there was one chapter called behavior, physiology of behavior. In that we used to study about brain parts and all. So where memory happens. Now UPSC has completely removed it. Only in 1 or 2 chapter, like in memory, even memory chapter also, it's not that. In emotion chapter, okay, that some 1 or 2 brain part we may deal. Hippocampus, hypothalamus, like that 1 or 2 parts we will deal. That too, we are not going to study anything related to physiology. Okay, so there will not be anything related to physiology, but complete psychology will be there.
I always wanted to take psychology as optional, but I'm worried about the weekend classes. Why for some subjects they have week classes and for psychology we don't have week classes?
It's based on multiple. No, we have some subjects it's weekday, some subjects is weekend. Okay, it is based on the availability, okay, and the faculty workload. So multiple factors plays a role. So as of now, we have kept it as a weekend. So if you take, I think Pabado also in the weekend, sociology will also be the weekend. So actually weekend will be, I think weekend should be better for you, because weekday, if you're attending GS classes, weekend, Saturday, Sunday, you can attend this class so that you will not get overloaded. Okay, so you can see in 2 perspectives. So you can think that weekend you can be free, but ultimately what I will suggest is you see your personal preference. And again, ultimately our objective is in this 1 year, we have to clear. This 1 year, let us work hard for this 1 year. Let us forget everything in this 1 year, because this 1 year of your investment, the next 30-35 years of your career is going to change. Because once you become, okay, or option both, once you become an IAS officer or IPS officer, any officer, next second your status will change. Okay, the way the people see you will change. The society itself change. Next 30 years, your career is going to be which is going to be biggest career. Okay, even if you go to a corporate, you will not have such career. Okay, money you may get it in corporate, but a career, if you become an IAS officer, you see the role they play, the position they get, the power they get, the status they command. So in the next 30 years, you're going to have it. Just imagine that investment is only 1 year, 2 year. Just matter of 1 year to 2 year. In the 1 year, okay, if you don't think about some, inconvenience and all, you bear that inconvenience. Okay, work hard for this 1 or 2 years, you can go. Okay, so again, personal preferences, you may have it, but as of now, we have kept psychology as a weekend. Some optional we have kept as a weekend. So there is no, there is no proper reason for it. So it has, so because of the class loading and the other factor, classroom availability, so multiple factors, it has been taken. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Actually, I've been working in previously with the PSU for the past 8 years. So after, because of personal issues, and also I like stopped that career. Now I want to start off my career with UPSC because I had a passion with that. So I'm 30 years plus.
Okay.
So with regard to personality, because it is not basically psychology topic question. My doubt is with regard to personality. Will I be judged based on my age or late realization to start off my career in UPSC? So I was just confused whether if it is a right choice of mine to start right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So okay, fine. I will give a answer. See, age is a number. See, if you take this field, some 2 years back, a person in the top 10 rank, he's around 35 years old. Okay, a person who has got married is 35 years old. So age is a number. So now here, the question of judging, where it will come? It will not come in prelims. It will not come in mains. All right. So no one knows your age. So if someone says that based on the age, they are going to reduce the mark, no. Someone is telling a lie. There is nothing called age, especially for prelims and mains. Okay, if you work hard, if you clear prelims, if you clear mains, okay, in the interview, suppose maybe 31, 32. So first they will see what you did after your graduation. So you worked for 8 years, right? Suppose there are some people even in 34, some 21 years, they start the preparation. 32, 33, they get into the service. So 8 years, 9 years, they do preparation. Okay, for that reason, whether UPSC reduces the mark, no. In interview, they don't reduce the mark. But the expectation will be more because you're still studying the subject for more than 8 years. So the level of questions, for example, I have a 22 years boy, I have a 32 years man. So 22 years man and 32 years man. So definitely 22 years man, little bit questions will be easy, but 32 years man, definitely question will be a little bit tougher. So since you have a, experience for 8 years, most of the time, definitely I don't think it will be a disadvantage. First, they will ask you what you have gained in this 8 years. What is the knowledge you have gained in this 8 years? Why you want to quit? Why you want to change the career? And then the questions will be normal. Definitely, there will not be any judgment based on your age. For age factor and all, they will never reduce mark. See, by and large, the UPSC various panel have a view that they want to reduce the age to 28 years. Okay, because sometimes they say that after 32 they will not be very flexible. So even though the debate and all is going on, definitely UPSC is not going to be unfair at all, because we have many people who clear in 31, 32, 35. So even I think Nagaraj, who's a rank 1 few years back, I think he got it only in 34 or 35. So age is not at all number. Please remove that in your mind. If someone says like that, please don't believe. Okay, so it is nothing like that. Age is just a number. So if you are capable of if you're good enough to do it, you need to work hard. But only one thing, because 8 years, 9 years, you have a working experience, you would have come out of the academics very long back. See, because schooling time, college, 3 years, 4 years, college. So probably you are with the academics. So after 21 years, you are the work experience. So 8 years, you will have a gap. Now that you have to compensate. Now, if you go and sit for the subject, if you go and sit and study, yes, sometimes after 2 hours or something, you may feel restlessness. That if you overcome for the 1 year of time, see, anything 3 months practice. If you sit in psychology, we will say that if you want to change a behavior, it is 3 months. If you consistently do it for 3 months, you can easily change your behavior. So you should get the practice of sitting for 6 to 8 hours. So why we say 8 hours means 8 hours is not the complete study time. 8 hours you have to sit. If you sit for 8 hours, at least 5 hours, you will study effectively. Okay, that is the only thing you have to do. That is where a little bit of a disadvantage you may have. If you overcome it, definitely you can succeed. So I will say that age is not at all a criteria. Please remove that from your mind. There is nothing called age. They will 21, 22 or 37, 38, they will treat equally. The level of question, since you are a little bit matured, definitely they can ask some little bit, matured question. That's it. Okay. So other than that, we don't have an issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, agriculture graduate, again, I want to tell you, so don't bother about your previous degree. Again and again, I'm telling you. Okay, you come from agriculture background, does not matter. Okay, if you want to take agriculture optional, you can take it. So that's the thing. But if you feel that I want to take psychology, I'm interested in psychology, okay, is it possible for me? If you ask me, definitely it is possible. So please remove your previous background. Your optional should be based on your interest. That is what again and again I'm telling you. Okay, interest in that, you will sustain that subject for 5 months time. You will be very regular, you will be very religious, you will work hard. Adha in the interest solron. Okay, nothing other than that. Okay, mail ID, I can give my mail ID. So any other doubts, if I missed it, please again post it, because many doubts has crossed by, because I have scrolled many doubts. See, weekdays, again, we have a restriction. So as of now, we planned it in the weekend. So weekdays, now in this batch, it's not possible. So better attend in the weekend. I hope you will not have any issue in the weekend. Because weekend, you can be free. You can come with a fresh mind. Because in weekdays, you will have one session. After 2 months' time, you will have 2 sessions and 3 sessions in the weekday. So already you will be loaded with GS. At least weekend, Saturday, Sunday, morning, 4 hours, Sunday. So don't bother about it. 1 year, please work hard. So whether it's a weekday, weekend, everything is same. That is what I'm telling you. Chinna inconvenience, don't take it, because you are trying for a high ambition. So don't take this small inconvenience. If you're interested, agriculture optional or psychology, that's what. If you're interested in psychology, take psychology. If you're interested in agriculture, take agriculture. That is what I will tell you. If you are interested in psychology, take psychology. There's no, no need for any doubt at all. See, taking psychology will be a burden for GS preparation. Please keep in mind, it is not so. Because why I'm saying is, if you see the GS, if you prepare the GS for prelims with current affair, by the time itself, 60 to 70% of our mains will get covered. Okay. And also, if you see the mark pattern in GS, it is going to be different pattern. It is not going to be optional pattern. So for example, if you take a psychology optional person, okay, whether he will score exceptional mark in ethics, not so. Whether you take a, political science, whether you will score exceptional mark in paper 2, not so. So you go and see the mark trend, it's not so. That is what again I'm telling you, interest should be the basis for your optional choice, because your optional is very competitive. Please understand, optional is very competitive, because if they take 100 people, if 100 people write optional, in that they may choose 5%. In every optional, they will choose 5%. You have to come in the top 5%. So for that, you have to be competitive in that optional. Okay, so it should not be based on the GS, it should be based on your interest. That is what again and again telling you. Okay. Okay, even if you're a BCom, you can choose psychology, because we have many BCom students, we have many, BA English literature students, no doubt at all. So yes, in environment, yes, we will discuss. So right now we cannot discuss that topics. Yes, in environment psychology, we will discuss the environmental factor. Of course, political aspect also we will discuss it. Okay, if you miss classes, that is what I was about to tell. Anyway, the recording will be there. But my personal advice is, do not miss the live class. Okay, you please make it as a habit. Now what we need is, if you want to start this civil service, what we need is attitude. We need discipline. Okay, so inga vande flexibility. See, the biggest mistake what we do in our life is asking excuse. That's the biggest mistake. If you ask excuse, then definitely we cannot achieve anything. So assume that your life is dedicated for UPSC. Whatever the option you take psychology, you take sociology, any option you take it. But my sincere advice is, your life is dedicated for UPSC. If you are sincere about UPSC, keep it. And also, don't keep an attitude that try panni paapom, okay, varudha illaya paapom, eppadi irukum paapom. No, that and all, it's a personality flaw. Please don't have that mind. Remove all those things. Keep a determination. That is what motivation liye first determination na mukyam. Keep a determination. Have an instinct that I need to clear. I will do it. Don't bother about result. Do the duty. Work hard. Okay, that is what I will tell you. So don't have all those things in your mind. If you miss the classes, anyway, recording will be there. You can do it. I will give my, the mail ID and everything. You can get clarified. If you have doubts in psychology or something, you can get clarified in the class itself. Even after the class also, you can get clarified. See, we will help you. See, in every optional, I will tell you, the optional faculties, once you choose optional, the optional faculty will take care of you, will help you. Whatever the optional, I can damn sure that. So every optional is a good optional. Okay, so every optional faculty have a good experience in handling this optional. So many students have cleared it. So you don't want to bother about and all. So do that. Your part, you please try to do it. Probability of success and all, yes, it's good probability. See, we have minimum 10% average rate. Definitely psychology will not, leave it. So even say 4 people go for a mains, 3 people will clear the mains. So other success that we don't have a doubt at all. You need not bother. See, in every, please understand, that is what people will have a confusion. Every optional 5% will get into the interview. That UPSC ensures. UPSC will not discriminate. If you see, if you go and just go and see, that's what I don't want you to see the data. You pay previous data. If you go and see the previous data, you see the success percentage. You can see some mathematics and all, success percentage will be very high. So sometimes commerce will also be very high. So that data and all is not needed. Again, I want to tell you how you perform. That is a trend in that particular year. This year, if you are good enough, you take psychology, you work hard, you are good enough, definitely you are going to be the topper. Okay, every subject topper. We have to rank 1 psychology. Right? Everything is there. So that and all is not there. It's only in your hand. Please keep in mind. See, the day classes already. I do not know how many classes is going on per day. GS classes. So that is also one of the reason I want to keep it in the weekend. And I know that because even in the last batch, what is the problem happened in the December batches? I think we kept in the weekday konjam panni vechirundom, weekday and this thing. So the time what happened, you see, many student they attended 2 GS classes. When they come to the psychology class 5:30 or something, they say that, sir, can we close the class by 7:30? So if you have a weekend, you will be free. So that is one of the reasons why I want to keep it in the weekend. Weekend na free that too, you come in the morning time, fresh 9 o'clock, because it's optional. It's a very important subject. That is a determining factor. Still, optional is a deciding factor in UPSC. Okay, so that is the reason, one reason why I kept optional, why I preferred. Because when Chandru sir asked me whether you want in the weekday or weekend, I told weekend. Okay, because weekend slots are also more. One of the reasons is you come fresh. That is what I want. Yes, we can have Telegram group, that and all, we will do it. See, whether you need to study lot of theories, lot of theories. We have only handful of, not lot of theories and all. And second thing, you should not, once you decide and come, don't worry about working hard. Okay, that is what again and again I'm telling you. Because why I'm saying is, whatever the optional, your competitor is ready to do it. If your competitor is ready to do it, you should do it. See, your competitor is not something in the classroom or in your, in the Zoom, who is your friend. Competitor. He is not your real competitor. The competitor is sitting in Bangalore, sitting in Delhi, sitting even in Assam, sitting in Bombay. Please keep that in mind. It's a competitive exam. So you should never get a even single, you should not even get that single thought. Your attitude, mind should be in such a way that you give me more, I will read it. You give me more, I will read it. And the attitude, that is the attitude we have to cultivate. Now, because that is the type of student come for this exam. If all the student has this problem, but we are getting a group of students, okay, from academies, from Shankar Academy, from Delhi academies and all. These are the students. They say that they read one material. After reading that material, they ask that, sir, I want one more material to read. Because I want to be sure enough. I don't want to miss anything. And the attitude, then what type of attitude we have to cultivate? We should also, because it's a competition, we have to go with them, we have to compete with them. If one student is ready to do it, it's a number, is 1,000 numbers, is a selection list, then what we have to do? We should also do that. So please, when you come to the civil service, the working hard, never ever think about it. Never ever have a second thought. Never ever ask excuse. Keep an attitude. Whatever the option you choose psychology or any option, does not matter. Whatever the option you choose, anyway, you are going to be in the entire process for 1 year. Whatever the option you choose, whatever the GS, you keep in mind, I will read more, I will read more, I will read more, I will acquire knowledge more. And keep that, if I write a 10-mark answer, okay, if my competitor gives 5 points, I will give 7 points. And the attitude la poi ukkarano. Appodan clear panna mudiyum. That is then only you can come to the top rank and this thing. That is how the students are coming. Ippa apdi dhaan vandittu irukanga. Last 5 years, 6 years. Okay, so this is a competitive exam. That is the reality. See, we don't want to fear and all. Just only thing is work hard. That's all. 1 year, 1.5 years. That's all. You do that without any excuse, without any hesitation, without any procrastination, without any laziness, without taking any other commitment. Okay, cut down all the friends and everything. Only limited friends, limited chats. Don't go to Facebook. Only see material which is related to a thing. Dedicate your life. Sannyasi mere or life dedicate. You can have your hobbies and everything. Does not mean that you can go to gym. You can spread your time, but give more focus here. Unga target. Your target should be UPSC. Exam clear pannu. But stress agudadu. Okay, your measure should be in terms of, okay, how I improve. So today I improved this. Tomorrow, okay, you have to improve 1 level higher, level higher. That is your thought has to be. This is a competitive exam. Okay. See, again I want to tell you, CSAT, because I'm telling it very purposefully, because 7 batches has come right now till now. Optional, any optional you choose, psychology optional you are going to take it now itself. Don't keep it November, because this is the time you can study, because after November you will get prelim pressure. Okay, so if you complete it, then from December onwards, okay, you can start your prelims preparation, then you can complete the prelims and then come for the mains. Test series, you can come for it. Okay, so please take it now itself. Don't procrastinate at all. Unless otherwise, if there is any genuine reason. Whether only strong academic background, no. See, there is no need for strong academic background. Again, I want to tell you, this is every optional subject is in the level of, they will say it is a honors level, but it is only the level of graduation. If you take a real BA psychology, if you see more than 25 papers, ultimately we are going to see in 2 papers. Many chapters are not in our UPSC at all. Okay, content also they have reduced it. So it is not at all going to be a challenging. You don't want much academic knowledge and all. Okay, they will not see, they want to know whether you know psychology, you do it. They're not going to expect you as a clinical psychologist or, okay, it's not like that. So don't bother about it. It is going to be very, average. And also if you see the UPSC, people who clear, average student only clears this UPSC, but they are all hard worker. Okay. Then any other doubts? Class starting date, whether they have told it. I think they would have told the dates, no? Optional classes starting date. Anyway, they will inform you. They will inform the date. So I will also check the dates. Yeah, it's going to be July. Some first week or second week they will start. So initially we will get into the topic because we have given a fair demo. So we'll directly get into the introduction to psychology. First chapter itself, we will come to know the entire psychology, what it deals. Okay. 9 July, yes, the classes will be started. See, writing style, whether influence or optional subject. See, writing style, whatever the style you maintain, ultimately UPSC is only bothered about content. Because UPSC itself has told, we don't bother about language, we don't bother about grammatical mistake, we don't bother about spelling mistake. We only bother about content. Even handwriting also, they don't bother. Because last year, we have one student, Manasvi. So his handwriting is very, very pathetic, but he has got a good score. So handwriting also not a, if your handwriting is a little bit, but it should not be very bad. Even if it is a little bit difficult, the professor will spend more time because they know it's a competitive exam. They are choosing for IAS, IPS, the one who's going to rule the country. Am I right? So the evaluation is something, every optional evaluation is something very, 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 justice. It will have the element of justice. So don't bother about it. Nothing, any style and all is not needed. Content is important. My doubts are, I have a message already. Okay, can you again post it? Because many doubts has come, just a little bit I have scrolled down. I do not know whether I missed any doubt. See, do we want to lay a lot of theory? No, see, that is theory means how many theories we have. We want limited theories only. Okay, so we don't want to need a lot of theories and all. So we have limited theory. All the theories are understandable, So everything it's something, you can easily understand it. So I will not say a lot of theories and all. We don't have much theories and all. Comparing with other options, the theories are limited only here. But you should be good in the theory. See, CSAT classes, if your optional is a weekend optional, choose the CSAT in the weekday. By chance, you're choosing psychology, your CSAT classes falls in the weekend, you can change it. They will allow you to change it. You can go and enroll it. First, you have to go and enroll in the optional, okay, and then you can choose it. See, hobby is totally different because hobby is something your personal preference and your personality is highly reflected in your hobby. Okay, it is highly reflected in your hobbies. So definitely there is no connection between hobby and the GS paper or optional paper. Please keep in mind. But elements of psychology will be there. First thing, we want to know what hobby you say. See, that and all we will try to mold it in the interview. So before the interview, there is a DAF. In the DAF, we will screen it. We will see what type of hobby you write it. But the thing is, it should be a genuine hobby. Definitely, there can be one question on hobby. Okay, so definitely there can be one question on hobby. So they will, because your hobby shows your depth in a particular interest. Because hobby means it is an interest. Or interest of the hobby. That you can know only through that. Okay, so definitely hobby is a very, very important part. So cultivate a hobby now onwards. Psychology is more of it's partly objective, partly subjective. You will come to know because psychodynamic and all, it's more of a subjective. Cognitive behaviorism and all, it's more of objective. It is a mix of objective and subjective. Okay, but we try to bring more objective than the subjective. Only NCERT plus 1 plus 2 enough? No. See, NCERT alone, why it is? See, it's a degree level paper. How NCERT alone will be sufficient? NCERT is a basic. Then the notes, what I'm going to give you, That is very important. Okay, initially you start with the NCERT. CSAT you can even delay. That's not an issue. CSAT you can even put it in November, December also. So if you're a little bit good in if you feel that you're little weaker in CSAT, then join now itself and then practice. If you feel that you're fair enough in CSAT, put it in November, December after the optional classes. Okay, so you can decide. So once you are decided, you can enroll yourself and then you can come on the first day for the psychology. So we'll directly get into the subject, introduction to psychology. Okay, mock interviews. Yes, for psychology students and all, I will handle mock interviews. Not all, we will handle for optional students. Because mock panel, we have a different panel. So there is a different layers of, first there will be a screening layer, then we'll have intermediate layer. Then in the final layer, we will call some experts, some college professors, some IAS officers. We have a different pattern. But anyway, because when you go to the interview, definitely 1 or 2 questions will be from the optional. So there we need to go for a mock. Since we are a psychology, definitely we have to, we should be better in performing an interview. See, previous question paper, no. See, if you take any previous year question paper, you will not get any idea at all. Because you should know the subject. Then only you can, see the previous. See, that is what, again and again I'm telling you, choosing the subject is only based on the interest. Not on other factors at all. Rest other we will take care. Okay, so one thing you can do, you can see, suppose if you want to further, you can just go and have a look at the syllabus for your clarification. Okay, rest of this we will deal in the first day of the class. See, some books we will provide. As I told you, we are developing notes. Probably it may little bit delayed for 15 days or 20 days. We will give it. Till then you can study NCERT. So that's a one source book which is compiled from many sources. Apart from that, second papers, Mark-Swain book definitely you need to buy. But reference book, I will advise you can get one reference book. I will tell you what is the reference book you can get. I will give you some optional. So all the reference book may be 400 rupees or 500 rupees. Since you are preparing psychology, at least one reference book you should have, right? So that is what I will tell you. One reference book, you can have it. Some contents of the subject. See, what is the some contents of the subject? What you can do is right now I don't have. So because it's a demo session, which is a very basic contents, what you can do is you can go and see the syllabus. You just put UPSC psychology syllabus. You will see the detailed content. You can have one reading of it. See, you should not much confuse. What you do is you decide on an optional and then get into it. Don't have any dilemma at all. Okay. You decide on one optional, then get into it and think that you will do that. Believe that you will do that. That's it. See, none of the option is going to be complicated at all. இதுதான் எல்லாரும் படிச்சிருக்காங்க. So அதனால ரொம்பலாம் நீங்க யோசிக்க தேவையில்லை. If you have interest, you can join one optional. அதுதான். நீங்க பயப்படுற அளவுக்குலாம் ஒன்றும் கிடையவே கிடையாதுங்க. There is nothing like that. See, some option like if you take like mathematics and all, okay, fine. You should think. ஏன்னா அது கொஞ்சம் different platform. But whereas psychology-லாம் வந்து ரொம்பலாம் யோசிக்க வேணாம். If you are interested, now you can join. Or if you have interest on any other subject, you can join that. அவ்வளவுதான். Okay, fine. So I think we have done with the session. So we'll close it. If you have any doubts, you can contact me in this mail ID. So we'll see on the July on the optional class. Okay, so thank you all.